What is up, my friends? It is your host, Nick Anderson, also known as Amongst the Whiskey, and today we will be getting into the 2024 release of George T. Stagg. I'm going to let you know I have already tasted this. I just completed my full tasting notes on amongstthewhiskey.com. They will be linked down below. I highly recommend you check that out because it is way more thorough than I'm going to get into here. This will be just a quick exploration of the 2024, a re-experience, if you will, and I'm going to side-by-side it with the 2020 George T. Stagg. I'm going to fresh crack a new bottle of the 2020. This was one of my favorite pours, basically of all time. It has not been surpassed, I don't think, in recent years. And what I tasted on the 2024 suggested that the 2024 could be in the running for my favorite Stagg. And so I'm going to taste it against the 2020 to find out if that is true. So I guess without further ado, we should probably get this 2020 open. Prove to all you taters out there that the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection bottles do open. As you can see, the foil does tear. These bottles, well, the foil mostly likes to tear. Fail. But that's what the old trusty pocket knife is for. We will continue that serration all the way across. Da-da-da-da. The cork doesn't want to open. This is a 4-year-old bottle. Joys of wetting your cork. Yeah, this cork has decided to hold on a little bit. I'm trying to make sure I don't break it. I've opened enough dusty bottles to know that your cork doesn't want to move. You don't yank it. All right, we got it. Okay, let's get the 2020 into a glass so we can do a side-by-side. 2020 versus 2024 George T. Stagg. They are both in amongst the whiskey glasses because that's not confusing. All right, I'm going to let that 2020 set up a little bit in the glass. I usually let whiskey rest for at least 5 minutes in my Glencairn before I do a full review of it. So let's talk about 2024 here for a minute. This is just a creamy, dreamy, barrel-proof delight. At 136.1 proof, this noses well below that. This drinks well below that, but offers that full array of flavor that barrel-proof bourbon does. It is 15 years, 2 months old, distilled from Buffalo Trace Mash Bill 1, which I've seen recently has been confirmed by the likes of Pablo Moy, who said that the Buffalo Trace Mash Bill 1 is 60% corn, 36% rye, 4% malted barley. That drastically varies from the literature I've seen thus far that had Mash Bill 1 pegged at a very low rye mash content, like sub 10%. So I don't know the full validity of that mash bill, but Pablo Moy knows his shit. So I'm going to err on the side of trust. 2024 George T. Stagg, though, on the nose, cherry cordial for days. There's some good kind of chocolatey ganache tones. It's quite leathery. There's got a touch of anise, some floral tones. The complexity is just incredible. There's way more in here than I can rattle off the top of my head. I spent about 2 hours with this glass already, and I'm telling you, my detailed tasting notes down at that review, you gotta click it. You gotta read that full review. You're gonna go crazy for it. On the palate, again, much like the nose, cherry forward, very creamy, buttercream frosting, pear, and then the spice kind of swings in on the underside of all of those sweet and fruit and creamy tones. It rounds out the experience without ever getting too spicy. Little bit of cinnamon, little bit of nutmeg, little bit of black pepper, but all the while pulled together by this underlying creaminess. This is honestly one of the best George T. Stagg experiences that I have ever had. I am not trying to fluff this up. This is damn good bourbon. This is the bourbon she told you not to worry about. You should be worried. This bourbon is going to steal your girl. You better watch out. Now, am I just losing my mind a little bit on a really nice experience? Is there a little bit of hype? The fact that Buffalo Trace sent me a sample for review, a media sample. Yes, I qualify somehow. That is why I've brought in the 2020 bottling and opened a fresh bottle of the 2020 George T. Stagg. I am willing to find out if I'm just excited because this is a media sample and I got it for free, or if it's actually just a really good bourbon and I can trust my palate. This is as much as an exercise for me as it is for you. So let's see what we think on the 2020. See how it compares to the 2024. Maybe offer my thoughts on which I like better. If you're lucky, stick to the end. 2020 George T. Stagg. Let's go. Holy smokes. That is big. That is bold. That is in your face flavor. That is a spectacular bourbon. Just a linger that lasts forever. 2024. Same story. Bold, old, enrolled in cherry. And a linger that goes on forever. Honestly, these might be a perfect match. It's going to be hard to choose a favorite out of these two. They're both perfect whiskeys. Both 2020 and 2024 are going to earn my top score. These are both 5 out of 5 whiskeys. Beautiful, beautiful bourbon. There's just a touch of harshness and a little bit of an experience where the 2020 drinks a little overproof, whereas I think the 2024 drinks underproof. So if you're somebody who values drinkability, go for the 2024. If you're somebody who likes that big, bold spice, big, gigantic flavor, maybe go with the 2020. For me, I find the ever so slightest bit of a fault on the 2020 in comparison to the 2024, and that is just that little bit too spicy profile. It's almost a little too candied sweet too, whereas I think the 2024 is a little more traditionally flavored. The 2020 has just a touch of like a synthetic characteristic, and goodness gracious, the creamy treat that is the nose on 2024 is just whiskey perfection. I think this is their best work yet. Yep. Twist my arm, make me choose between the two. I am going with the 2024. Yep, the 2024 is my pick on 2020 versus 2024. I think the 2024 is one of the best George T. Stagg releases yet. Get you some of this. Well, folks, that is mission accomplished. We have tasted through the 2020 release and the 2024 release of George T. Stagg. We have crowned a favorite. The 2024 is it. I'm going to be hunting for a bottle of this and hunting hard because this is delicious and I need a bottle. But that's going to do it for tonight. Until next time, my friends, keep it amongst the whiskey.